Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to today's Postgrad Insights session. Now, this session is going to be brought to you by Swansea University. It's going to be a medicine, health, and life science special. So if any of the courses or areas that you're interested in will be covered under these courses, this will be the session to watch over the next 4 or 5 days. Now, before I hand you over, a reminder that this is a live session. So if you have any concerns or any questions, please pop it in the Q&A or the chat facility at the top or bottom of your screen, depending on the device you're using. And if you miss any of this session, it will be live and on demand. So head over to postgrad.com from tomorrow and it will be available on there. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Professor Phil Newton.
Okay, so I'm Professor Phil Newton. As Gareth said, I'm from Swansea University. And what we're going to talk about for the purposes of this session is really just an introduction to some of the courses that we offer within the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences at Swansea University. So we're going to walk through Swansea itself, which is a fantastic place to live and study. And then we'll talk through a bit about Swansea University. Then I'll talk you through the details of some of the courses that we offer with some of the key features of those courses. Towards the end, I'll explain about some of the scholarships that we offer to assist with funding for tuition for some of those courses. And my colleague, Bethany Sawyer, will also be here to answer any questions you've got about funding, tuition and scholarships and so on. And we'll talk about how to apply for some of the courses and also where you can get any additional information if you've got any questions. Once I'm done explaining those things, as Gareth said, we'll be back for a Q&A. Any questions, put them in the chat or in the Q&A session or wherever it is. We'll pick them up and we'll come back to you with the answers. And if we can't find them here, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So it's worth an introduction to Swansea University itself and whereabouts it is in the world. I know we have viewers, delegates and attendees from all over the world. Swansea is in southwest Wales. Wales there highlighted in green on the map of the UK. We're in the southwestern corner of Wales, but we're only an hour from the capital of Wales, Cardiff, and we've got a direct train line and a high-speed motorway to London. So we're less than 3 hours from London. And those of you who prefer to fly into or travel from the north of England, from Manchester, we're just under 4 hours from Manchester. We're the second largest city in Wales in Swansea, with a population of just over 250,000. We're a seafront location. I'll show you some pictures in a second. We've got 2 campuses, both of them very close to, basically on the beach, and we're on the edge of the Gower Peninsula, or California as we sometimes call it, which is the UK's first area of outstanding natural beauty, and it's a beautiful part in the world. I often in these sessions explain that I moved here from San Francisco, California, to come back to the UK back in 2009, and the reason we came to Swansea was because it is the part of the UK that is most like California, excepting that it's not completely the same, has its own unique charms and attractions, but it really is a beautiful part of the world. So these are our 2 campuses then. The one on the top is the original Swansea University campus. It's now called the Park campus. As you can see, it's in a park. And the park land around it is protected, so it's always going to be in this beautiful green location. But as you can see in the top left-hand corner of that picture, it's also very close to one of Swansea's beaches. Until very recently, the park campus was the closest university campus to a beach anywhere in the world. And it was beaten to that record a few years ago by our second university campus, which is the picture in the bottom there. As you can see, that campus is slightly but significantly closer to, if not on, the beach at the eastern end of Swansea as you enter into the city. We're just, excuse me while I close my windows, a bit of noise coming from outside. We're close to the city centre, even though we've got these beachfront locations, and we've got over 20,000 students, and a significant proportion of those are international students. We have staff from students and staff from all over the world. We've got 3,000 staff, a mix of academics and professional services staff. And as I said, we've got staff and students from all over the world, 130 different countries represented on our 2 beachfront campuses. You can see at the bottom there, one of the means by which universities are ranked and rated. The Times Higher Education Supplement World University Rankings for 2023. I think there's 1,600 universities in there, and we've edged our way into the second tier of those. We're ranked but 250 to 300. So we're really proud of that, and this represents our upward trajectory over the last few years. Swansea itself is, as I've said many times now, a beautiful place to live. This is a view from the hill towards the back of the city, Kilvey Hill, looking out across the centre of Swansea and Swansea Bay, and you can see there in the distance Mumble's Head and the broad sweep of the seafront location of the city. In the left of that picture there, you've got the old harbour and port, which has been converted now into a marina with lots of accommodation. Our international students find that a particularly attractive place to live. It's a city centre location. And the campuses, which I showed you on the previous picture, are basically either side of this image. So the Park campus is just towards the right-hand side of the picture, and the Bay campus, the new campus, is just off screen on the left-hand side of this picture. Swansea has a number of things going for it. A recent survey from the Daily Telegraph, a UK newspaper, rated it as the most welcoming, friendly and trustworthy city in the UK. It really is a very welcoming, warm and friendly place. We're tucked away in this corner of southwest Wales, where lots of people know each other, and everyone's very welcoming and friendly to people, as I said, from all over the world. We're a very safe place to live. Complete University Guide in 2020 ranked us in the top 6 in the UK's safest cities. And we're also very affordable. With the cost of living crisis affecting everyone all over the world, in particular in the UK, it's very reassuring to know that Swansea is one of the most affordable places to live and study in the UK. This was a survey conducted in 2019, and I can assure you that, again, having moved here from the US, Swansea really is a very affordable place to live. We've been very fortunate that as part of the city deal arrangements from current governments, we've been awarded 500 million to redevelop various aspects of the city centre. That's included the maritime quarter. That's the part that I alluded to on the left-hand side of that picture there. The old Dockland area and port area have been redeveloped into housing, restaurants, entertainment, etc. And we've also got the Swansea.com Stadium, which, if I was standing in that picture in front of me, would be behind us. Just up the Swansea Valley is the home of Swansea City and the Ospreys regional rugby team, and there are live music events there every year as well. So as I said, it's a wonderful place to live, and it's our home. It's the home of Swansea University, and within Swansea University we've got 3 faculties, of which one is the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences. That's the faculty that I'm from, and the faculty that the courses I'm going to talk about are all from. And we're a faculty with global reach and impact, with the aim and ambition to improve the health, well-being and wealth of society through research, education and innovation. And we've got a focus on improving the health, well-being and wealth of this part of Southwest Wales, but also then through the courses I'm going to talk about, through all sorts of different areas all over the world where our courses have impact, where our research has impact, and is improving the health, well-being and wealth of folks pretty much everywhere. Within the faculty then, we've got 3 schools. The medical school, where I'm from, the School of Health and Social Care, which includes our allied health professions programs, nursing, social care, etc. And then our School of Psychology, which understandably includes our psychology degrees and our related postgraduate degrees from there. Being a Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences, many of our courses are accredited by professional bodies so that the graduates from our courses go on to practice medicine, nursing, accredited psychology courses, pharmacy, etc., etc. The university and the faculty, oops, I apologize, I appear to have stopped sharing. Let's go back to that. Okay. The university and the faculty, as all higher education institutions around the world, are evaluated, ranked and rated by a whole range of different organizations. And what you've got on this screen is just a selection of some of the highlights of the rankings that currently apply to our faculty and to our university. So you've got the Complete University Guide, you've got the Research Excellence Framework, you've got the Times Higher Education Supplement, you've got the Guardian, you've got the QS World Rankings. And there are others besides, which we haven't put on this slide because we didn't want to completely bombard you with lists of rankings. You can see there in the top left-hand corner, Swansea University Medical School is ranked 4th in the UK, and the top three, the other three of those in the top left-hand corner of the slide are from the Research Excellence Framework. So every few years, the UK government does an audit essentially of every university in the UK to see how good the research is and how much impact the research is having. And you can see that our research in the medical school and in the faculty has a considerable impact. It's internationally excellent, world-leading, and renowned. What that means is the research that we're doing, as well as being very good, is actually making a difference. And that links back to the aim that I talked about in the previous slide of improving the well-being, wealth, and health of folks all over the world. There are various different subject rankings here. You can see we're top 10 in the UK for nursing, 4th in the UK for health studies, top 15 in the UK for biomedical sciences, which is a real achievement because that's a really large and competitive field.
Sorry to interrupt, Phil. I just cut you off there off the screen simply because you were sharing your task mode instead.
Okay. Let's fix that.
Share your screen.
Why has that happened? We've had a number of technical challenges, which I'm not going to bore you all with. All right, let's try again, shall we? Screen sharing has failed to start. The window you selected is invalid. PowerPoint's messing with me today, folks. All right, let me try one more different thing. I'm not going to tell you how outstanding we are at distance and online learning because my activities here wouldn't support that. So I can assure you it is a local issue. My computer is having terrible difficulty this morning. All right, we're back, Gareth. We're back where we need to be.
We're all back. Perfect.
All right. Okay. What was I telling you? I was telling you how wonderful we are. We're wonderful. Here's all the rankings. And I've probably talked enough about those. So it's often a question when we come to these webinars about why study at postgraduate level. What are the advantages, disadvantages, challenges, opportunities from studying at postgraduate level? There are a lot of these. We could talk about this for a long time. I think I'm just going to summarize a few of them. It's well established that folks with a postgraduate degree tend, on average, all other things being equal, to earn more than folks with an undergraduate degree who then earn more than folks without a degree. It's an increasingly competitive marketplace and increasingly competitive higher education environment. The numbers of students, the numbers of degrees are going up year on year, as they have been for a number of decades now. And so having a postgraduate degree is really a key differentiator for folks going into the job market, and it indicates a level of specialization and advanced study skills. It's an opportunity for career advancement and specialist knowledge, particularly if you're interested in a particular subject area. This is a way of getting the extra qualification to demonstrate an accredited level of specialist knowledge to pursue that particular career. And for folks already in a career, getting some additional qualification and specialist study is often a good way of promoting advancement. It's an opportunity for flexibility and lifelong learning. Many careers now, particularly professional careers in the areas of medicine, health, and life sciences, require a commitment to lifelong learning, updating skills, updating knowledge, updating understanding. And that's, again, another reason why lots of people choose to study at postgraduate level. And there's lots of flexibility within the courses that I'm going to talk about, as you'll see. Enhancing your network, you're going to be studying alongside like-minded folks, learning from some of the world's leading experts in the discipline. It's just a good way of getting to know people as a way of advancing career and opening up opportunities. And then just a basic focus on personal development. As you'll see, I'm a nerd. I love neuroscience. I'm a neuroscientist by background, and we have many students every year who study our courses, including in neuroscience and psychology and so on. Nanomedicine, genomic medicine, just because they're passionate about the topic, they want to learn a little bit more, and it's something that they're interested in. So I'm going to talk then through some of the courses in the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences I'm just going to give you the brief highlights of some of the courses, because we've got a lot of courses, each with its own range of different features and opportunities. If you want some detailed information about the courses, there's a contact email address there, and the website is linked there. So if I explain the basic details, and as I said, if you want some more information, there's some routes by which you can get it. So these are the courses that we currently offer within the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences. And you can see they're broken down largely into the three schools: health and social care, psychology, and medical sciences within the medical school. And then we've got a couple of courses down there in diabetes practice and medical education. These are offered through an online format, and they're aimed at professionals who are studying and want to learn how to, say, teach the medical education course, or a specialist interest in diabetes for diabetes practitioners. The courses that are highlighted in green are courses that have 2 entry points. All of the courses have an autumn entry point, autumn in the UK in September or October, and they're all still open for entry in September 2023, although some of them are getting full. And then the courses highlighted in green have an additional entry point in January. This is something we did in response to the pandemic, when lots of people found their opportunities for study were delayed. They didn't want to start in the autumn of 2020, and so we opened up January entry points initially in January 2021, and they were so popular and successful that we've kept them for the foreseeable future. So all of those courses in green have a January entry point. I'm going to talk through just some of them, mostly the ones from the medical school, and just give you some of their key features. A key feature of all the courses is that the teaching approach is tailored to the discipline. Not all the courses are taught the same way. Most of them have a blend of seminars, so small group teaching with the tutor and with the experts in the field, lectures, which are larger group teaching, tutorials to cover specialist topics, and then almost all the courses have some form of practical session, particularly those with a laboratory or a health professions angle. We use the Canvas learning management system to organize all the courses, so all of the content is accessed through this, including recordings of all the taught sessions. So if you're not able to attend a particular session, or you want to review and revise the content from a session, then the recordings are there. There's extracurricular content. It's a key feature of postgraduate study, really, that we give you the scaffold, the basics, the core principles, and then you're free to explore those subjects that are of interest to you and to go into subjects in particular additional depth. A particular plug here for a video on cognitive load theory, which is a approach to learning and teaching that we use extensively within the faculty. That video is from some bloke called Phil Newton, explains how teaching and learning work, and is a feature of some of the courses, including our medical education course and our medical neuroscience course. All the assessments are then present on the Canvas learning management system. There will be practice assessments to allow you to work with the content and to test yourself to see how well you're doing, as well as the summative assessments, which count towards the course credit. And then all of our master's courses feature a dissertation in a specialist setting. That might be a laboratory dissertation, it could be placement-based, it could be a mixture of the two. It's an opportunity for you to really pursue in detail and at great length a subject that's really of interest to you within that particular master's course and that particular discipline. So the first course I'm going to talk about, one that's very close to my heart, is one that starts this year, and it's a new then MSc in medical neuroscience. Medical neuroscience is the study of the human brain and nervous system, chemistry, physiology, function of the brain and nervous system, but obviously with a practical focus on the medical applications of the study of neuroscience. I'm currently the lead for that course. We've set it up to run this year. It's really an exciting time for us in the medical school. We've got a strong track record in research in neuroscience, as I explained with our ref results. That hasn't until now been represented in the taught portfolio of the courses. So we've put on this course to allow our neuroscientists, our research leaders, to share their findings, to share their expertise and their passion for the subject with our master students. I'll give you a couple of slides about this course. There's a lot of practical learning within the course. We've got a laboratory techniques module aimed at helping students understand some common laboratory techniques that we use in neuroscience and also that we use in other practical laboratory-based disciplines. And then, as I said, there's a dissertation, which in neuroscience will allow you to study with some of our research leaders in the field of neuroscience. Neuroscience and medical science generally is a fast evolving topic, it's a fast evolving area. And so we've got a lot of optional content within this program that allows students to select from specialist subjects, small mini modules that are a day or a couple of days with a specialist in a particular subject area, studying a particular contemporary issue that is of interest to them. One of the crown jewels in this program is a full module on medical neuroanatomy with our very own YouTube star, Sam Webster, who's really made a name for himself on YouTube. As of today, I can just see he's got over 500,000 subscribers. He started out making videos for our medical students, explaining to them how the nervous system works, and has really gone on to share his knowledge and his expertise with, as you can see, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. And he's one of the leads for this medical neuroanatomy module, along with his colleague, Dr. Chris Summers, who's a practicing clinician. And between them, they're going to walk our master students through the basic anatomy and the detailed anatomy of the nervous system using practical activities in clinical examinations. And examinations there doesn't mean exams as in tests. It means the way that a clinician would examine the nervous system of a patient to look for what's working and what's not, is there a problem here or not. And through learning the way that neurologists examine patients, our master students will learn how the nervous system, particularly as relates to the head, cranial nerves, etc., how that's all put together, how that works, what we look for when it goes wrong, and the complexities and intricacies of medical neuroanatomy. It's a real highlight, I think, of this program. We've got some other modules within the program. The first of them is called Foundations in Medical Neuroscience. That's led again by some bloke called Phil Newton. And that course is designed to broaden access to this MSc in medical neuroscience. So any student who's interested in neuroscience, thinks they're interested in the nervous system, in learning and memory, in Alzheimer's disease, in neurology, in cognitive psychology. If you've got an interest in those topics, but you don't have an undergraduate degree in neuroscience or even an undergraduate degree in biomedical sciences, then the point of that foundations module is to allow you to catch up and get up to speed with those students who do have that background. So the course is open to any student with the equivalent of a UK 2-1 degree in science or psychology. And that foundations program, lots of which is delivered online for maximum flexibility, is designed to allow students to all get up to speed. Then we've got a couple of specialist modules, advanced learning and memory. Again, that's with me. That's my particular interest, how we learn, why we learn, what happens when that goes wrong, how we can apply that in the real world. Then we've got some specialist expertise in neurodegeneration and repair, so multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, those sorts of things. Those folks will be leading that module. And then we have a science communication module that runs throughout the course that's really aimed at allowing our students to develop the skills to translate this complex higher order science into a language that can be used to explain to the general public why this is important, what's happening when it goes wrong, and so on. Some of the other admissions criteria are there in that little blue box, the IELTS, the tuition fees, and so on. Any other questions about that course, do pop them in the Q&A. I'll come back to us later on. Okay, just a quick whiz then through some of our other courses. We've got an MSc in Genomic Medicine. This is, again, an applied course. Genomics, really an expanding, innovative, emerging field, intrinsic to all aspects of health and personalized medicine. Why do some medicines work for some people and why do some not? Why do some approaches, therapies work and some not? Why do some people develop certain diseases and some not? Genomics is at the heart of explaining some of those features. People who want to understand that and want to go on to work in clinical settings, clinical geneticists, genomic counselors, etc. This is really a course that appeals to them. The course is mapped onto the curriculum of Health Education England and Genomics England. So it's designed to map onto the professional world of genomics, in giving students an introduction to the fundamentals and then moving on to the specialist areas. So folks who want to go into working in those areas or have an interest in this but want to go in generally to things like clinician scientists, research assistants, and so on, this would be an attractive option. Again, you've got the the courses that this would appeal to, the undergraduate courses, if you've done biochemistry, genetics, pharmacology, medical science, etc., you'd be eligible for this course. And then the other admissions criteria are there in the blue box. Nanomedicine, again, represents, as with genomic medicine and neuroscience, a course that the medical school has research expertise in. We've been one of the pioneers in nanomedicine and nanoscience over the last couple of decades. Nanotechnology and nanomedicine is basically studying very, very small things, 1/1000th of a meter, and how that science can apply to improving the health, wealth, and well-being of individuals. So applications of biotechnology and advanced engineering into medicine, the interface between nanotoxicology, nanogenotoxicology, regenerative medicine, pharmaceutics, etc., how those things all link together. And that course is housed within the Center for Nano Health, which is a 22 million infrastructure development that we were awarded a few years ago now, and we've built that into one of our institutes for life sciences buildings within the medical school. And it really is, again, a strength of the medical school, something we're really proud of, and we've now represented it within our talk portfolio. Excuse me. The folks who do this course, again, come from a broad range of medical science type backgrounds. You can see some of the courses, the undergraduate courses that our applicants have in the green box there. And then the courses that people go on to, the careers that people go on to, they can be within the broad fields, within the field of nanomedicine and nanohealth, but also within the broader area of biopharmaceutical, biotechnology companies, food science, and then folks go on to do PhDs as well, as they do with the other two courses I've talked about. The medical school itself at Swansea is a graduate entry medical school. That means that all of our medical students have at least an undergraduate degree. It's extremely competitive to get onto our graduate entry medicine program. And so many students find that doing an undergraduate degree and then one of these three master's degrees gives them that extra edge, gives that extra understanding. And many students want to be in Swansea while they're applying for the medical degree. And so they choose to do their postgraduate study here with us. It's not a requirement to do a master's degree to get onto graduate entry medicine, but it's a simple fact that lots of students who do these master's courses then go on to apply for and study graduate entry medicine either with us or at other graduate entry courses elsewhere in the world. We have a number of postgraduate research programs. So the three courses we've talked about so far are postgraduate taught, and that means the balance of those is mostly taught modules with the academic staff involved in research in those areas. There is a dissertation component to those taught programs, but that's a third of the content, whereas with these research programs, the majority of the activity the students undertake is in research. A wide range of different postgraduate research programs essentially boils down to PhDs and then MPhil and master's level, which are smaller versions of a PhD in summary. And we've got them in a wide variety of subject areas with more to come this year. Essentially, if there's anything in the medical school, the health and social care school, the psychology school, anything in the faculty where research is being undertaken that you're interested in, there will be a postgraduate research program that would allow you to pursue research in that topic. Okay, the last couple of slides from me then. Scholarships and funding. We have a number of different scholarships. Perhaps the most salient of those is the Postgraduate International Excellence Scholarship of up to £4,000. It's awarded as a discount off tuition fees for postgraduate taught students, and it's awarded to students who have demonstrated academic excellence, or to students who have the potential to demonstrate academic excellence during their time at Swansea. Now, academic excellence is obviously defined very differently depending upon which country you're coming from. Will then depend upon the course, the qualifications you've got, and the different grades within those. So the details are in the website link below. But if you're doing well in your undergraduate degree, there's a really good chance you'll be eligible for this scholarship. So do have a look into that or get in touch and ask us for any questions. Good, applications are currently open for those scholarships. And again, the details for how to apply are on the website. Any application you want to make for any of our postgraduate courses, taught or research or otherwise, all go through this single link, the details of which are right there, swansea.ac.uk, apply online. As I said, we do have spaces on currently on all of our Taunton PGR courses, but it is now approaching the middle of June, and so some of the courses are going to get full, and when they get full, they're going to close to new applications for September. So if you're not sure, the best thing to do is probably to get in touch with any questions you've got, and we'll do our best to answer them as soon as we can. If you're an international student, it really helps to apply sooner rather than later. You have to apply really between the 31st of July to be considered for September intake, just to make sure we can help you as best we can with visas and relocation if you want to do that, and so on. So again, the sooner the better. Any more questions? We've got an international team dedicated to helping you with your application and then supporting you through your time with us here at Swansea. We've got a Faculty International landing page. The link to it is there. That's got all the courses on, including the ones I didn't have time to talk about today. And if you've got any questions that you perhaps don't want to put in a chat in a webinar or put in an email, you can book a virtual one-to-one meeting with us, and we can talk you through what your options are, deal with any questions that way. Again, there's the email address there. If you've got any questions, any students or any applications, be international or based in the UK, you can use that contact address and we'll get back to you.
Thank you, Phil. Really appreciate that. In terms of the presentation itself, it's been intriguing to see the new course opportunities and the new opportunities as a whole, really, since we last spoke a year ago. So it's great to see that. Now, a couple of questions have come in. I'm going to start really with funding, because many people ask about funding because it's related to where they want to study. So,
of course,
what opportunities are there, external opportunities that you're aware of, in addition to the opportunities that you've just mentioned in your presentation, for students on an international level to come to Wales? You know, there is a cost of living crisis going on, which we all know about. We all kind of understand that. What aid and help is there at the moment to help with students?
Probably more than I can explain in the short time that we have. I might defer to Bethany if she's there. She's our expert when it comes to scholarships and funding. Bethany, is there anything you can help us with on that question?
Just to add, really, that we do at Swansea University welcome applications for achieving scholarships as well as Commonwealth scholarships. I appreciate that those are closed for September 2023, but if you perhaps are considering applications for next year, then you are welcome to consider achieving or Commonwealth. We do have a whole range of scholarships, not just a postgraduate international excellence scholarship, which is a fantastic opportunity. But please do have a look at our international scholarship page, because there's a whole host of scholarships that we do have, both within the university and also externally as well.
And I might be putting myself at risk here, revealing my ignorance, but do we have a specialist scholarship for female STEM applicants? Is that right?
We do have a, so within our faculty, we have our Francis Davis Scholarship, and that is for female applicants there are quite a number of eligibility criteria attached to that. The applications are closed for this September 2023,
okay.
Only just. It closed at the end of May. They aren't open for January entry, so the next applications, will probably open around February time next year and will be applicable for September 2024 applications. But yeah, please do keep an eye on that if you are considering applications for next September. And quite rightly, as Preston Newton said, it is open to females. All of the eligibility criteria are going to be on the dedicated international scholarship webpage, as long as we do have a dedicated Ira Francis Davis Scholarship webpage. So if you are interested in that for next year, then please do go and have a look at that.
Excellent. And from a student viewpoint as well, Bethany, if I leave you on at this point, Phil mentioned earlier on about his likeness to California, Swansea, and it's a beautiful part of the world. It really is. Could you elaborate a little bit further on Phil's point about why it's such a great place to study, especially for international students coming to the UK? By the looks of it, I mean, I've been to Swansea a couple of times. You've got the coastal. You've got the coast right next to you. You've got some beautiful walks as well, not far away. So there's something for everyone there. Is that right?
Definitely, there really is something for everything, as you say, Gareth. Whether you're interested in sort of outdoor pursuits, we've got a whole host of. We are on the Gower Peninsula. We are the first area of outstanding natural beauty in the UK, and you'll see that for yourself. Hopefully, you can see my wallpaper in the background, that is our Singleton campus. We are the campus that's closest to the beach in the world. So a lot of our students, both home and international students, really appreciate that, that kind of location in order to be able to enjoy their work-life balance. But aside from kind of outdoor pursuits, as Professor Newson mentioned in his presentation, the area of Swansea has had a lot of reinvestment, a lot of redevelopment in recent years, and that means that students have access to a whole host of different sort of entertainment facilities, restaurants, cafes, and as well as it being sort of a safe place for students to enjoy those activities as well. And that's in the area of Swansea. But the fact that Swansea city itself is quite a university-based city, so we are naturally a very diverse community, both in terms of the university as well as the local community. And that's something that I think all of our students really get to benefit from, as well as externally. Sorry, just to sort of add in terms of the university kind of benefits that students have, is that we do have over 150 different societies. So there's a whole host of options for students, whatever they're interested in, whatever hobbies they've got, whatever interests they have, there was very, very likely to be a society for them. And I think that's a great way for students to have the opportunity to network with, with friends, with peers, not just within their programs, but also across the university as a whole.
And I'm sure it'd become a home for the home, and I think that's safe to say. I want to stick on international students as well. Phil, you mentioned on one of the courses about the English language requirement and IELTS score. Noticed in there that the score was 6.5 at an IELTS level. Bethany, you might be the best person to elaborate further on this. Is that the same across the department and across the college? Is that pretty standard? And do you accept things like TOEFL, Pearson's, Duolingo, and other tests?
So yes, in answer to that, generally for PGT programs, we do require an IELTS of 6.5 overall, with 6 in each component. However, there are certain exceptions to that. In certain cases, depending on application, we may be able to accept a TME. So depending on where you've studied your bachelor's, for example, that's something that we can take a look at. We do also accept a range of other equivalent English qualifications, and we have a list of that that's accessible on our Swansea University webpage. If you just look at English requirements, you can see the whole list of other alternative qualifications that we accept.
Excellent. One of the questions that popped up in the chat facility from Gordon was around special research opportunities within medical facilities. Is that something, Phil, that again, that might feels like a you question. Is that something that you guys offer?
Yes, so there's specialist facilities and there are specialist opportunities. So the medical school is spread across 3 or 4 buildings, but 2 of them are what we call the Institutes for Life Sciences. They're probably 10, 15 years old now, but that is the first of them. The idea of those buildings is it puts together under one roof students studying our courses, research expertise in the laboratories, and then small companies and companies that spin out from the researches, from the research groups. And they're all there together, drinking coffee in the same Starbucks, sitting in the same lounges, going to the same seminars. It was an innovation designed to translate the findings from our research with our expert and enthusiastic students into real world difference, which is one of the reasons why we've been so successful with our research impact. That means then that we've got the specialist research facilities in there. We also have a data science building. It's another great research strength of the medical school is data science and health data science. And within all of those, there are specialist facilities for the particular areas of research. Those would be the places where we would expect students to be doing their dissertations. And then there are also opportunities for extracurricular research projects, summer internships, short research projects, etc. So we're a research intensive university at Swansea, so research is a big part, if not a main part of what we do. And there are all sorts of different opportunities for students to get involved if that's what they want to do.
Excellent, thanks, Phil. Bethany, again, feels like a you question this one. Intakes. You mentioned earlier on about the STEM funding for female applications. What intakes have you guys got? Presumably, is it September and January intakes as standard, or do you have the one intake a year?
Yeah, so we do have September and January intakes. I'd probably say many of our programs, many of our PGT programs are both available for September and January. The main kind of difference is that there are certain programs that are not available for January intake. So for example, within our School of Psychology, none of our postgraduate psychology programs are available for January. They are solely September. But apart from that, the majority of our programs, you know, across the other schools within our faculty are available for both September and January intakes.
And does it make a difference whether you start in September or January, or do you still get the same amount of credit, same amount of learning, and it doesn't make a difference whatsoever?
I would say it's really the same, but this might be best something that Phil can answer.
It's exactly right. The simple answer is no, it doesn't make a difference. It's designed to allow students the flexibility if that's what they want to do. The courses that offer a January entry, by and large, are designed on what we call a carousel. So what that means is, as a student, you step onto the carousel with the module that's running at that particular time, whether you're starting in September or whether you're starting in January, and you go through all of the modules, and then you get off at the end with your master's degree. So the modules are designed to be standalone. So they could be completed as a standalone topic. You don't have to have done one particular module in order to be able to do another one. And from an academic perspective, then it really makes no difference. The only difference I think is possibly maybe appealing to some students is that the January intakes tend to be a little bit smaller than the autumn intakes. And so if you wanted to study in a smaller group, you might want to start in January. If you wanted to be part of a bigger group, particularly if you're going straight from undergraduate study and wanted to stay with some of your peers, then you might want to start in September. But the reality is it doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously September has its benefits because obviously students can come here earlier during the summer, settle down and kind of get a gauge for the city and where to go, or, you know, just get a little bit more settled. Is that safe to say?
Yes and no. I think it's, you know, you're going to have traditionally students who've graduated from their undergraduate degree the previous summer would tend to start a master's degree then in the following autumn. So there is the summer to come and get settled, but if you've graduated in June, July, and then you don't start until the following January, you've got the whole autumn then to come and check the place out and find somewhere to live, get settled over Christmas, which is a wonderful time to be here. So I think it's really up to you. And if it doesn't make a difference, then you're going to get the same experience either way, really.
Okay. And finally, the last question, I'll leave it a bit open-ended for you. Excuse me. In terms of medicine and health in particular, those two areas, more than any other courses and subject areas, are booming. And over the last 2-3 years at postgrad.com, we've seen a significant increase in the amount of students that are now covering this subject and looking to enroll in a course related to health and medicine. Why do you think that is? Do you think there's a specific reason for that, or do you think it's becoming more accessible now, perhaps?
I think it's both. I think that's part of it. I think there's a recognition that there's lots of people who have a lot to contribute to practice and to study in terms of health and medicine. I think COVID played a huge part in that. And I think the cost of living crisis is probably furthering that. People, as we all were, sat at home, forced really into a period of reflection about where we were going, what we were doing, and globally, a movement of people who wanted to help just do something to help make a difference with this huge challenge that we were all facing. And I think that did certainly lead to a huge increase in applications for our undergraduate and our postgraduate courses in health and medicine. You would expect it, though, if it was only COVID, that would have started to ebb, and we haven't seen that. You know, people still really very enthusiastic about doing that, and I think that's only really a good thing. Certainly for us, our mission is to try and improve the health, wealth, and well-being of society, and having enthusiastic, able graduates coming from our undergraduate courses, coming from all over the world, studying our master's courses, and then taking their learning out into the world has got to be a really good way of helping us achieve our aims and helping them achieve their aims as well. So it's a good thing. I think COVID's a part of it. I think accessibility is a part of it, and the rest, I don't know. And if our delegates have any views, I'll be welcome to hear them.
And that's why I said it's open-ended, because there's probably so many things you put your finger on it for. Okay, Bethany and Phil, thank you very much. It's been a very engaging session. Hopefully see you again in the not too soon future. But if anyone's missed any of this session, the Q&A, this will be on postgrad.com from tomorrow. So please head over to there. If you've got any concerns or any questions, my email address is on the screen as we speak. But somebody from Swansea will be in touch if you do have any further questions. But for now, a huge thank you. And Phil and Bethany, thanks for your time.